We often tell ourselves a comforting story, that we are the humans who discovered fire. But the biological truth is far more humbling. We are the apes that fire turned into humans. Before we had kings, before we had temples, and long before we had a single page of scripture, we had the fire. Consider the Prometheus boundary, biologically. Every other animal on this planet flees from flame. It is the instinct of survival. The forest fire is the devourer of worlds. But somewhere in the deep, unrecorded past, our ancestors did something against nature. They ran toward it. They didn't just capture it, they tamed it. This wasn't just about warmth, it was about metabolism. The cooking hypothesis tells us that the hearth became our external stomach. Digestion is expensive, it burns energy. By cooking food, we outsourced that heavy lifting to the fire. We freed up massive amounts of caloric energy. And where did that energy go? It went straight to the brain. The physical hardware that composed the Vedas, the mind that conceived of the Upanishads, that biological machinery was forged by the heat of the fire. The human brain consumes 20% of the body's energy, a feat impossible on a diet of raw roots. The first offering the fire gave to humanity was humanity itself. But fire did something even more profound. It created time. It extended the day into the night. Anthropologists call this firelit time. While the sunlit day was for survival, for hunting and gathering, the night was for the imagination. For the first time, huddled in that magic circle of light, we began to tell stories. We began to speak of the ancestors who were no longer there. We began to weave the social fabric that would become culture. This is the anthropological root of Dharma. Civilization did not begin with a book. It began with a circle around a flame. For centuries, historians looked for the origins of the Vedic rituals. They looked to the Indus Valley, they looked to the Gangetic Plains. But the earliest known evidence goes into the very soil of the Bronze Age. At Bactria Margiana archaeological complex, sites on the border of South Asia and Central Asia. Just across the Hindu Kush Mountains, neighboring Gandhara, archaeology has unearthed a startling truth. In these sites, dating back to 3000 BCE, we find the physical evidence of the Sanatan fire. These were not merely cooking pits. These were constructed altars, raised podiums designed for a specific, non-utilitarian purpose. We find ritual ladles almost identical to the Vedic Juhu used to pour ghee today. We find traces of ephedra and poppy, the likely ingredients of the sacred soma. The archaeological record proves that the ritual continuity, the Sanatan connection, was established for thousands of years ago. The inhabitants were already feeding the sacred flame in these fortified cities. They had already distinguished the Garapadya, the domestic fire, from the Avaniya, the fire of the gods. This proves that the action of the Yajna is the oldest unbroken thread of human spirituality. The ritual predates the text. The fire is the original scripture. And when the texts were finally compiled,
They left no room for doubt. The Rig Veda, the oldest book of the Indo-European world, does not begin with Indra, the king of gods. It does not begin with the abstract Brahman. It begins with Agni. Agni nile purohipan, Yajnasya devam ratvijam, Hotaram ratnathatamam. I adore Agni, the Purohit, the divine ministrant of the sacrifice they invoke, the greatest bestower of treasures. Purohita means that which is placed in front. Before you can speak to God, you must speak to the fire. Why? Because Agni is the Duta, the messenger. In the Vedic view, there is a barrier between the world of men and the world of the gods. We cannot fly to them. They do not walk among us. There is only one entity that can cross the border. The Veda declares in Mandala 1, Hymn 12, Agnim Dotam Urnimae. We choose Agni as our messenger. When you place an offering into the fire, Agni transforms matter into energy, carrying the essence to the heavens. Without the fire, the phone line is dead. A prayer spoken without Agni is a monologue. A prayer spoken into Agni is a transmission. But Agni is not just a messenger, he is Glihapati, the Lord of the house. He is the only God who descends to live with us. He is the Atithi, the guest. The Veda speaks of Sanad Sakhyan, friendship from of old. You don't have friendship with the stormy wind or the burning sun, but you sit with the fire, you feed it, you protect it. This intimacy is the emotional core of Sanatan Dharma. In Rig Veda 1:26, the Rishi invokes him. Agni divikmata vacha, Sakha sakhe varenya. O Agni, with brilliant speech, the phlegm chosen for friendship. This brings us to the true meaning of the word Sanatan. It is often translated as eternal, but the etymology suggests something more specific. San means ancient. Eterna means stretching or continuing. Sanatan does not mean forever in a static, abstract sense. It means an unbroken continuity stretching from the ancients to the now. The Rig Veda captures this perfectly. Agni Shunutanairut. Agni, praised by the ancient seers and by the new ones too. Agni is that chain. He connects us to the Pitaras, our ancestors. The Samad is our unbroken ancient lineage.
Now, the modern mind might ask, isn't this primitive? We have electricity now. We have science. But the Vedic seers would smile at this distinction. To them, Agni was never just the flame on the wood. Agni is energy. There is a profound difference between Surya, the sun, and Agni, the fire. The sun is powerful, yes. But the sun is sovereign. You cannot control when it rises. You cannot command it to come closer. But Agni is the only cosmic force that submits to human will. He waits in the wood until we kindle him. He is the friendly god because he allows himself to be used by man to ascend. Today we call him by different names. When he flows through copper wires, the Vedas call him Vidyut Agni, lightning fire. In Rig Veda 5.10.5, the Rishi describes Agni's rays, Na Vidyuta, go forth like lightnings. Every time you flip a switch, you are invoking Agni. Look at your laptop, your smartphone, that light emitting from the pixels on your screen, that is Agni. We have not replaced the fire, we have simply refined it. We are running our entire civilization on captured lightning. The Rig Veda even anticipates our fuel sources. In hymn 2.11, Agni is called Ashman, the one born of rock. Today we burn coal and oil, fossil fuels, literally fire from the rock. And what of propulsion? The Vedas call Agni the Rathi, the charioteer. Rig Veda 194.13 hails him, Rathi Tamam Rathanam, the best charioteer of charioteers. When Dr. Abdul Kalam named India's premier missile Agni, it wasn't poetic license. It was a recognition of a deep truth. The rocket engine is the purest modern Yajna, controlled fire used to defy gravity and transcend the earthly plane. Agni is the engine of the past, and he is the engine of the future.
Once, the whole world understood this Sanatan Dharma was not isolated. It was part of a global brotherhood of flame. Travel east to Japan, to the Shingon Buddhism of Koyasan here. They perform a ritual called the Goma. This is not a coincidence. It is the Sanskrit word Homa. The Japanese monks invoke a deity named Ketan. Ka means fire. Ten means heaven, or Deva. Ketan is literally Agni Deva. They build a square altar, just as in the Vedic tradition. They offer wood sticks called gomagi, on which prayers are written. They throw mustard seeds into the fire to dispel obstacles, mirroring the Indian tantric use of mustard seeds for protection. From the banks of the Ganges to the temples of Kyoto, the fire is the witness. Now travel west to the ancient Baltics and Lithuania. The old religion centered on the sacred fire Sventa Ugnis. The word Ugnis is a direct cognate of Agni. The fire was tended by the goddess Gabija, the protector of the hearth. Just as the Vedic householder offers grains to the fire, the Lithuanians would offer salt and bread, duona irdruska, to the sacred flame every night. To spit in the fire or stomp on it was a grave sin, a taboo shared strictly by Hindus and Zoroastrians. In Rome, the Vestal virgins guarded the eternal flame of the city. If it went out, Rome would fall. They prepared the mola salsa, salted flour, to sprinkle into the fire, a direct parallel to the Vedic offering of purodasha, rice cakes. In Persia, our cousins, the Zoroastrians, have tended the Atash Bahram, the victorious fire. For millennia, they feed it with sandalwood, just as we do, invoking Atar as the visible presence of the divine. From Rome to Kyoto, the ancient world knew the divine has a body, and that body is made of light. Then came the Great Divergence. The history of the world split into two paths. The religions of the book and the religions of the fire. When the Emperor Theodosius extinguished the sacred fire of Vesta in 3094 AD, he didn't just put out a flame, he ended an age. The Western world moved from the hearth to the congregation. They traded the living, physical witness of the fire for the static dogma of the text. They replaced the Sanatan continuity of nature with the historical revelation of prophets.
The Sanatan world is defined by the presence of the fire. The non-Sanatan world is defined by its absence.
So, what is the verdict? We can practice yoga. We can read Vedanta. We can visit temples, but if we remove Agni from the equation, we are left with philosophy, culture, or art, but we are not left with the Sanatan Dharma. The eternal nature of this path isn't an abstract idea. It is a physical practice. It is the act of keeping the link alive.
Agni is the witness, Sakshi Agni is the messenger, Duta Agni is the friend Saka who waits in the wood.
There is no Sanatan Dharma without the sacred fire to reclaim our heritage. We don't just need to read more books. We need to relight the hearth.